Clint Cosgrove, Rivals.com, continuing our early National Signing Day show. We've got Utah head coach Kyle Whittingham. Very special guest today. Coach, thanks for coming on and talking some Utah recruiting and football.
You bet. Appreciate you having me.
Now, coming off another huge season, Coach, 10 wins. And we were kind of talking about this before. You guys play a different brand of football. You're a physical team. You run the ball. You impose your will. And I think this recruiting class kind of resembles what you guys are, as far as an identity as a team. You look at, the positions you signed and everything like that is, signing 3 running backs, for instance. That room's going to be in good hands for years to come. Tell me a little bit about your goals heading into this signing class.
Well, obviously you have positional needs. When you lose guys to graduation or leaving early for the NFL, the first thing you have to address is making sure you got each room, with ample bodies and being able to have depth at each position. Beyond that, it's just finding the best athletes available and the guys with the most upside. And that's kind of been our MO for a lot of years. We're a high school recruiting based program. 15, 20 years ago, it was 80% high school, 20% junior college. Now it's shifted to 80% high school, 20% transfers, through the portal. And so that really, the portal players and the transfer players have really supplanted what used to be junior college athletes for us. But it's still about the same ratio. Like I said, we're 80% high school guys, and that's what our program makeup is.
Yeah. I mean, known for developing players, but you also signed some big name players as well. And I think the thing that's really interesting about your program is you do recruit regionally, but your brand has become that where you can kind of go anywhere and pull a special player. And I think of you guys going into Kansas and grabbing John Randall today. Tell me a little bit about his recruitment and your thoughts on him as a running back and, a future Ute.
Well, first of all, he's a terrific athlete. I mean, he's a 24-foot long jumper or thereabout. He's fast in the 100 meters. He's just a freak athlete, and that's the kind of guys we look for. The guys that have the skill set and the high ceilings, and we think John fits that bill. He's got good size as well. He's nearly 200 pounds and 6 feet or a little better. So we think we got a good one there, and we were excited, when we got that commitment from John. And as you mentioned, we're committed to running the football, and he's certainly going to add to that.
Yeah, no question. Love the athleticism, love the upside, love the lineage as well. Father, great football player, right. Uncle, a very good football player. And I know that was a big win for you guys because, his dad's old position coach was recruiting him for another team. So, other areas of emphasis, on the defensive side of the ball, what were you looking to fill as far as holes defensively?
Well, we're always looking for front guys. Those guys are typically the hardest to find, and we thought we came away with some really good players up front. Linebackers, we got some good returning guys, but we needed 2 or 3 guys in that at that position group, and then in the secondary, we again just looking for the best athletes available and guys that can play man coverage. That we're a big man-to-man coverage team, and we always on the lookout for those corners that can play man coverage. We got a really good one in Smith Snowden down in just in the south of us, about a half hour, and then some CJ Blocker out of Texas. I mean, we've got some guys that we are very high on.
Yeah, impressive group. Impressive group of name guys that. The Midwest is my main region, but these are guys that we talk about in our national rankings meetings, and I'm very familiar with them because of that. And I talk about footprint a little bit earlier, but you guys seem to be able to kind of go anywhere and win battles. I remember last year you got the running back from Florida. You get local guys. You go to Hawaii, Texas, California. When you set out your recruiting plan for the year, is it we're looking to grab this many players from this region, or are you just willing to go anywhere to grab the best player? Are you looking for a connection? How does that all work?
Yeah, it's a little of everything, I guess you would say. Our footprint has definitely expanded. through the years, and we'll go, as you mentioned, from Florida all the way to Hawaii, which is a pretty big area. We're not as big up north, north or northeast. That's not really much of a presence for us. We don't have a big presence there, but we've been able to have very good success in Florida, Texas, of course, in-state here in Utah. Southern Cal has always been a staple for us, and I think we got 3 or 4 guys from there this year as well. And then Hawaii, the Polynesian athlete has been a big part of our success through the years, and we've not only got them from Hawaii, but the island of Samoa and Tonga, and even New Zealand at times. And so we have a pretty big net that we cast, but we feel like the main areas that we have are just those that I named.
Yeah, no. Who gets to go and be the New Zealand recruiter? That doesn't sound like a bad gig.
Yeah, that's Lewis Powell. Lewis Powell is our world traveler. We've sent him to Australia, New Zealand, you name it, and he's been there. So he coaches our defensive ends, does a great job, and he also has the Hawaiian Islands and as well as Samoa and Tonga.
Incredible. That is incredible. How about, recruiting philosophy changes over the years? You talk about an expanding footprint. The other thing that I've talked to with a lot of coaches about is because of the transfer portal and, NIL and everything, just the overall environment today. It almost seems like an NFL approach. You don't know who you're going to lose to the portal. You don't know who you might need to gain from the portal. Are you guys looking at your roster differently, almost like the NFL, evaluating where you need to be, who you could lose, who you could get? And then, because back in the day, it used to be, we graduated 3 defensive backs, so we take 3 defensive backs.
Right.
How has today's football environment changed the way you look at things?
Much, much different. And we spend hours and hours poring over the roster and trying to project and predict, I guess you could say, who's going to stay, who might be thinking of leaving, and also guys on the roster that may be better served to leave, that might have a better chance of playing at a different level. And so we do that almost on a daily basis. I mean, we take a look at that roster and talk about it, talk about the players and how they're developing, and who we think is going to become a real guy for us, and who maybe would be better served to move on, like I said, and that's something that, as you mentioned, it used to be very cut and dried. I mean, here's your senior class, they're out. Here's the new freshmen coming in, and it's no longer that simple. Far from
Nope.
it. Far from
it. It has evolved so much, and it's crazy to hear everybody's philosophy. Some guys in the portal nonstop. Some want to, have plug holes. I think you can find a happy medium.
Yeah.
And different teams are finding different ways to win with it. But what you guys are doing obviously works, Coach. Very impressive class. Do you have plans? Are you going to continue to add to this? Is there more to come at the late signing period? Or is most of the hay in the barn right now?
I would say high school wise, 95% the hay is in the barn. And that's pretty much the trend. The high school players are almost all signing on that early signing day. There's a few holdovers that wait until that second date, but we're pretty well wrapped up with the high school players. Now we're going to go ahead and supplement, those guys with transfer portal guys, as well as guys that we don't foresee losing off the roster. I mean, there's some things that surprise you. When a guy walks into your office and says, "Hey, I'm going to enter the portal," I mean, just hits you right out of the blue. And so in that regard, the portal is a good, I don't want to call it a Band-Aid, but a way to replenish your roster and take care of immediate needs.
No question. Well, Coach, can't thank you enough for coming on. Always a pleasure to talk with you. Really impressed with the job that you guys do, not only this year, but every year, not only on the recruiting trail, but, on the field as well. And really appreciate you coming on.
Appreciate you having me on, Clint. Appreciate it very much.
There you have it. Coach Kyle Whittingham from Utah. Thanks, Coach.
Okay.